Hi guys, from China. Now, story time. Okay, it's not story time, but I just want to talk about the culture shocks that I found in this country. When I first came to China, if you watch my previous video, you would know that I came into China in the year 2017 in February as an English teacher, and I started teaching at a university. I've lived in 3 different provinces by now, but that's a story for another day. There's so much to say. Eh? It's been 8 years. There's a lot to say. But today, I just want to tell you about the culture shocks that I experienced when I first came to China. So the China that I knew was the China that we saw on TV, and the China that you hear people talking about. Oh, the Chinese eat dogs. Oh, the China eat cats. Oh, the Chinese eat dogs. The Chinese eat cats. The Chinese eat frogs. The Chinese eat this and that. That's not true. That's actually not true, but it's also very true. I'll explain later. But yeah, cultural shock number 1. Toilets. Yeah. So we were so used to the toilets, with the toilet seat where you have to sit, not the squat, right? Yeah, there's a lot of squat toilets in China, not only in public places, but even in homes. People have squat toilets. In public places, I honestly don't mind a squat toilet. It's clean, it's safer than just sitting on any toilet seat that is being used by many people. So in a public place, I'm cool with that. But this is also even in homes. There are people that have not changed that still use squat toilets in their homes. For me, that was like, whoa, culture shock. That is number 1. Another culture shock, still talking about toilets. When you go into universities, into public schools, that was before the COVID-19 thing, right? The school that I went into, and apparently it wasn't only that school, it was actually with many schools. They didn't have like a toilet for each. Okay, so there's a toilet, right? And it's got cubicles, like in a school. It's got cubicles, so you push your door and you go in, and obviously you expect to see a toilet seat or a squat thing there, but it wasn't like that. There was a tunnel. There was a tunnel, and then this tunnel was only flushed once, and everything would go. It was flushed at the end, at one end, and then everything would go and go out one end. That was how it was, that tunnel. And it turned out that actually in most public schools, that was the setup the time that I came. But now, after the COVID-19, even in my school, the school that I was teaching in, the toilets were changed. We now had squat toilet, not the tunnels anymore. They actually changed that. I think it was also in a way of trying to just make sure that everything is, like in terms of health, they were just trying to make sure that, they dot all their I's and cross all their T's just to make sure that everything's okay. Because what that meant was, if somebody did their number 2 here, and somebody did their number 2 here in their cubicle, they just leave. The tank fills up by itself. When it's full, it's a lever lifts, and then it flushes, and then it washes off everything. But you do not flush yourself. You do not flush. You just do your thing and you leave. And eventually when the tank is full, a lever lifts and then it washes off everything. That was a shocker for me. But apparently that was very common in most public schools, like public primary schools, public high schools. It was common. But I don't think those things still exist now. That's like 9 years ago, 6 years ago. In most schools that I've gone to after that, no, the setup is not the same anymore. It's not the same anymore. Right, so that is one. That is another one. Still on bathrooms. You go into an institution like a school. Where I come from, you expect to see staff toilets, right? For the teachers, for the school principals, basically. And then a toilet for girls and a toilet for boys. A toilet for men, our male teachers, our admin people. But it's not like that here. The teacher, the principal, the grade 1 student go into the same toilet. Yeah, You are squatting here and your grade 1 child is squatting next to you and the principal is squatting next there. And that's just how we roll. There is nothing like staff toilet. Nah. It doesn't exist. It does not exist. I only saw that in an international school. But in a public school, I have not seen that. Right now, I'm teaching in a university in a different province from the province that I arrived in, and I still share the bathroom with my students. I go and queue up in the toilet with my students, literally. So how do I solve the issue of, well, for them it's not even embarrassing. Like, you literally meet in the toilet and they're like, "Hi, teacher." For them it's normal, right? Because that has always been the thing. But for me, I still find it uncomfortable. So how do I solve that? I wait for, like, we have 10 minutes break between classes. So I know that in those 10 minutes, they like to go to the bathroom because they drink a lot of water. Yeah, that's another thing I'll talk about. So I know they like to go to the toilet. So what do? 5 minutes before the 10 minutes break, I go to the bathroom if I need to go to the bathroom. Okay, so that by the time the 10 minutes start ticking, I'm done. I'm out of the bathroom. Okay, that's one way of solving it. Or I just go home. Because I also don't have office hours in my school. It's literally walk into class, finish, walk back home. So I don't necessarily need the facilities in the school. Okay, then let's talk about drinking water. Whew. The Chinese drink water for days. They drink water for a living. They drink water, like drink water. So I went into a kindergarten to teach part-time. I met a Chinese woman. We became friends. She just came back from the US. So she set up her own kindergarten and she needed somebody to kind of boost her kindergarten so that she could get more students. And people here love it when a school has a foreign teacher. Okay, they just love it. They just think everything is good. When you see a foreigner working in there, it means things are okay. So I would go to her kindergarten just to play with the kids and spend time with the kids and make sure the parents see me, and then she grew her numbers. But this is the thing. Those kids drink water after every 30 minutes. They must drink water. After every 30 minutes, they drink water. They literally have little cups and a cupboard where they put their cups and they've got their names on them. So they are drinking water after every lesson. The lesson is 30 minutes long. They go and line up and take cups and drink water. Not just water, but warm water. They do not drink cold water. They do not drink water that is at room temperature. They drink warm water or hot water. They are literally blowing into their cups to drink that water. And they drink. That it's just the way it is. These people love drinking water and they drink warm water all the time. And unfortunately or fortunately, I do not know, I also got hooked. I love my warm water. I find it difficult to drink cold water. Yeah, it just doesn't do it for me. I feel like it's too cold for my body. But when I drink warm water, when you get used to it, actually, it does quench the thirst. It does. In the beginning, I wouldn't feel like I had water to drink, but now I'm good. I'm okay. I'm okay with that. And then another culture shock for me. I was expecting that, maybe it's just me, eh? Maybe it's not even you. Maybe it's just me. I was expecting that, like, when the students see you as a teacher and they're doing something, like they're touching and kissing, they'll probably stop, right? Because they're embarrassed. No, not here. They don't care. You are talking of freshmen students who were in high school where they were probably not allowed to date, and suddenly they're in university and there's this freedom to date. They don't even know how much to go with their freedom. They are kissing everywhere. They are touching, even in class. Even in class. They're sitting on each other's laps and nobody cares. No. I told them, no, in my class, no. If you need to do this, get yourselves a room. Here, no, we're not doing that. That for me, it was shocking. Even like when you're walking in the school, you're walking just this playground or whatever, you find the students are sitting very inappropriately, but They don't care that they've seen a teacher or whatever. They just continue with their business. So I became almost numb to that, seeing kids in inappropriate position. I don't care anymore. I don't see it actually. It doesn't exist to me anymore. Okay? It just doesn't exist to me. Another thing that shocked me when I came to China, I would see old men putting a key on their belt. I don't know if that is something, maybe it's just me, but I was surprised, like, oh, who does that? Yeah, I'll put a picture of that, show you what I'm talking about. Anyway, the biggest cultural shock of them all is the spitting. These people spit. Vanoshipa, like, it's normal. It's very uncomfortable, but for them it's very normal. Even small kids actually spit. It's just normal for them to spit. It's very uncomfortable. I remember one incident when I was still in that university that I spent my first 5 years. Oh, by the way, I call Hananjinjo my hometown because that's where I first lived when I came to China. So that is my hometown. My students, everywhere I go, they know that's my hometown. So one day I was in class, I think it was second year students, and I was explaining something and I was walking in the aisles. So there's desk, a row of desks and a row of desks, and then there's an aisle in between. So I'm walking in the aisle and I'm talking to the students and I'm explaining what I'm explaining. And one of them just went and spat on the floor. I froze. Kuperegwa, kushaya kuti saka ndochidipa zvino. And I just stood there like membweiswa malaitsi maziso. I just stood there. And the other students just looked at me like, one of them was able to say, "Are you okay?" Only one was able to speak and say, "Are you okay?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm okay, but what's with the spitting?" And they all just looked confused like, "What do you mean what's with the spitting? What's with the spitting? What's the big deal? It's just spitting. It doesn't matter." For me, what bothered me was the fact that he was spitting in the classroom on the floor. If you're going to be spitting while in the classroom, use tissue paper or something, not on the floor where people are going to be stepping and everything. No. We're not doing that. It's not like it's in the soil where it's going to sink. This is a tiled floor. So that thing is going, oh no. And you have, between those 10 minutes of break, you have those cleaners coming to clean the classrooms, remove the trash and everything. Come on, guys, you are adults. And the cleaners in China are old people. That's another culture shock, okay? So anyway, this student spat, and I said, no. In my class, you do not spit on the floor. You spit on a piece of paper, on a piece of tissue paper, whatever, and then you put it in the trash can. You do not spit on the floor. That doesn't cut it. And only one, like the class monitor, came to me after class and apologized and said, "No, I'm really sorry. I'm going to explain that in Chinese to the class, that in this class, we do not spit on the floor. We spit on toilet paper or whatever, and then we put it in the trash can. We do not spit on the floor. The teacher is not comfortable with that because where she comes from, people don't spit on the floor." Okay, that was very shocking for me. But yeah, generally they spit, they just spit. And like I said, the cleaners in China are mostly old people, like old people. That people that do the cleaning, especially in public institutions, in schools, public offices, the cleaners are old men and women, but mostly old women. I don't know how to explain that, but a friend of mine once told me that most of these people, they have nothing left. They used all their savings to marry off their sons. They helped their sons to get married. So now they don't have any money, so they have to work. That is one. Two, some of them just want to work because they feel that if they stay at home, they'll probably get sick. They just want to stay active. The cleaners in this country are old people. Very old people. Okay, not very old, but they're just old people. You don't see young people doing the cleaning, no. The cleaning jobs are for old people. And also the security guards are mostly old people. You don't see very young people being a security officer. No, they're old people. Okay, I cannot explain that. I don't know how to explain that one either. But yeah, that's the setup. I once heard some explanation, but it's very controversial, so I'm not going to put controversy on my channel. So yeah, that's the thing. They are old people, mostly in security, and in the cleaning sector it's mostly old people. I do not know. Right, another cultural shock for me was how people here do not shower. Yes, there is water, there is hot water, there is warm water, there is cold water running 24/7, but they just don't shower. They do not shower. No. If at all they are going to shower, no, I'm not saying they don't shower totally, but I'm saying they don't do like what we do. We normally shower twice a day, right? If you are not somebody who's very clean, you probably shower once a day. Or if you're living in a very cold area, you probably shower once a day. Or if you work does not make you sweat a lot, you probably shower once a day, right? But these guys can shower like twice a week. Yeah, they don't not shower that much. In the morning, they wash their faces and they go to school. That's the normal thing. Wash your face, brush your hair, brush your teeth, eat your breakfast, and go to school. That's what even we teach them, even in primary schools, when you're talking about a morning routine. It does not involve a shower in the equation. It does not involve a bath in the equation. It's only about washing your face. They wash their faces only. Okay, for little kids, you can totally understand that probably in the morning it's too cold. And also for winter, I can kind of understand why they wouldn't want to shower in the morning, because the winters here are super cold. Okay, in some parts of China, the winters are very cold. But for summer, guys, most parts of China are very hot and humid in summer. It's absolutely uncomfortable. You can find yourself taking a shower 3 times a day because of the temperatures, because of the humidity, because of everything that's going on. You can find yourself taking a shower 3 times a day, but they don't. They can shower 2 or 3 times a week and they are comfortable with that. I don't know, maybe it's their makeup that's different from ours. I do not know. I do not know. But maybe, yeah, it's to do with their makeup. I have no idea. But that's the truth. Showering is not a normal thing. And for me, that was like a culture shock. And I heard another culture shock again. It's a story that I heard from one of my friends. She told me that when they are on their monthly cycle, okay, when they are going through that, they do not shower, because one girl told her that she does not shower when she's having her monthly, because her grandma told her that if you shower, it will go back. So you have to wait until your days are over, then you can shower. Yeah. I don't know how that works, but yeah, it is what it is. It's what they believe. I'm not sure. I'm not saying that's what they all believe, but I'm saying for that girl, that's what she was taught by her grandmother. So there is actually probably a portion of this country that believes that. So they stick to that. They find it very normal. Cultural shocks. Right. And then there's when it comes to food, guys, you know, right, we use chopsticks, right? You use chopsticks to eat, and that's okay. I don't have a problem with that. But you find that we are eating from the same bowl. Like if it's meat, it's in a huge bowl, and everybody's picking from that bowl with their own chopsticks and putting on their own plate. The same chopsticks that they are using to eat are the same chopsticks that they are dipping into the bowl with everybody else. But I noticed something. There's a little girl who showed me something that I found quite interesting. She used the back of her chopsticks to get meat from a bowl onto her own plate, and then she used the front to eat. So when she was dishing for other people, she was using the back of her chopsticks to dish for other people. Then when she was eating, she used the front of the chopsticks, which is also quite wise and interesting to watch, because she understood that she cannot be dipping her chopsticks into a bowl of food that everybody else is taking from and then use the same to eat. So she was using the other end. And of course, I want to believe like it's something that she was taught in her family, in her home, that this is more appropriate. So like yeah, that's about culture shock. I'm trying to think of any other culture shocks that I found here that, but most of them, like, they didn't really make my life uncomfortable. What I found uncomfortable was the spitting. Yeah, that was really, really, really uncomfortable. I just didn't know how to. Up to now, I still don't know how to deal with the spitting, really. I don't. I find it very, very uncomfortable if somebody's spitting. But yeah, it is what it is. And also, when you get onto a taxi and the taxi driver will just offer you a cigarette, like, to them, it's a way of saying welcome. It's a way of showing that they accept you, they're okay with you. They'll offer you a cigarette. A cigarette. I have been offered cigarettes so many times. And oh yeah, because the Chinese don't have secrets, right? Yeah, they don't keep secrets, Shem. They talk about anything and everything. To the extent that when you're on the taxi driver will ask you how much money you get paid. How much are you getting paid? Like, it's a normal topic. It's like you're talking about the weather. Yeah, they'll ask you how much do you get paid. It's okay. It doesn't matter. It's like, what's the weather like today? They don't mind. They'll just ask you. They'll ask you a random question like, do you have a boyfriend? I just met you on the taxi. You are my driver. Why are we talking about my boyfriend, my husband, my children, my wife? It's okay for them. It's a very natural subject to talk about. Yeah. So things that we actually think are probably sensitive and things that we should not talk about, they find them normal. But I always want to defend them and say, maybe it's to do with the limit in vocabulary. That's all the words this person remembers. Yet they want to have a conversation with you. But they cannot remember. How do they ask, like, what's your country like? So what season is it in your country now? They probably don't remember all those words, but they remember the silly words. Husband, boyfriend, boyfriend, girlfriend. They'll never forget those words. So they find themselves asking you those questions because they, in my opinion, they want to practice English with you, but they don't know what to ask. They don't remember words, but they remember the silly words. That's how I like to defend them. Right, that's how I want to defend them. I want to justify their behavior. Right. Yeah, I think for now these are the only culture shocks that I can remember. If I remember any other, I will throw them into my story times. Definitely, I will throw them in there. But yeah, that's just about it. Culture shock. Yeah.